As many as you may know, my speech last week was only one part of a two-part speech. For those of you who weren't here, you missed an interesting speech and a wonderful story that I told about how your dreams could slip away. I discussed how negative voices from family members, from teachers, and from friends can discourage us and talk us out of our dreams. What are we doing is actually allowing other people to dictate and set limits on our lives. People will tend to talk you out of fulfilling your dreams by discouraging you, by telling you you're not talented enough, or telling you you're not important, or telling you you don't have the smarts. You're not athletic enough to play soccer, or you're too skinny to play football. Believe me, I've heard this all through my childhood. Okay, so I know by experience. I finished last week by telling you about your kids, your nephews, and your nieces, how they will stumble through their childhood and have these issues going on, and don't punish them for it. Lift them up. Go ahead and shake off all the dust and encourage them to keep trying. Help them to believe in themselves and in their own abilities. Today, I want to tell you about how negative words can influence life in a negative way and provide you with facts to substantiate my information. I stated in the first part of my speech that these negative words start to infiltrate our minds and our hearts. Again, they'll be telling you you're too fat to play sports, or you're too skinny, or you're not smart enough for the spelling bee contest. Words are like a weed, and if you allow them to grow, they'll infiltrate your heart. A study done by Ohio State University showed that negative information more strongly influences our lives than positive information. It showed that negative information stays in our thoughts longer and is easier to recall through our memory than our positive thoughts. I would like to give you an analogy, if I may. Take an ordinary seed that is planted in the ground. That seed has about 100 pounds of dirt or soil sitting on top of it. So you say to yourself, what chance does this little seed have to actually make it and grow to be a tree? It doesn't have a chance, does it? It needs water, it needs sunlight, and it needs a whole lot of determination. That little seed is buried under a foot of pressed down soil. I can just picture this, a conversation between the dirt and the seed. The dirt will be saying to the little seed, "Ha ha, little seed, I don't even see you there. You're so small I barely see you." And the little seed will be saying, "Hi there, Mr. Dirt. I'm going to grow up someday and be a very, very large tree, the biggest tree in the whole forest." And the dirt would say, "Well, how are you planning to do that? You're buried under 1 foot of me, and I am much stronger than you. You just wait and see. I'm going to grow up and be the biggest tree in the whole forest. Ha ha ha. I am many times stronger than you, and you can barely move down there." Now, the little seed didn't get discouraged, and as time passed, he sprung out of his shell, and a little stem appeared. And next thing you know, you see that little seed beginning to work its way through the soil. And next thing you know, it reaches the surface, and it springs out and sees the sunlight. And it starts growing all the way up to the sunlight, and starts reaching and growing and growing. I can see the little seed now looking back at the dirt and saying, "You see, Mr. Dirt, I told you I was going to grow." And after many years, many years, that little seed became the largest tree in the forest. You see, we become what we believe about ourselves. Many of our dreams never really make it to reality because we listen to what other people say about us. Let's take it one level higher. If you continue to dwell on negative things that people say, depression begins to set in. Your dreams never really reach their full potential. There was a study in a magazine called Psychological Science, and there was a Dr. Jorman who looked at people who suffered a life-ending tragedy. And about 6 to 9 months after that, 4 out of 5 people actually recovered from their depression and moved on with their lives. The other ones didn't. They kept turning in their head that tragedy over and over again in their minds. They couldn't let go of it. They couldn't even try and focus on any new topic other than what was there, and so that depression stayed with them. You know, once that depression sets in, you begin to feel a low self-worth, lack of motivation, and then you feel unappreciated. You know, sometimes I feel that, you know, when these negative words come against us, I feel that we should just go ahead and get cotton and put them in our ears so we don't have to listen to those negative words. You see, those negative words are just bad to keep in. We just need to let them wash off and bring in positive thoughts to replace it. Folks, it is important that we don't let ourselves be the ones planting those negative seeds in other people. If you see a coworker make a mistake, show some compassion. Help them fix it and reinforce the work that they did right. Don't let you be the one that's planting those negative seeds. Now, of course, if someone did something that cost you your job, well, that's a different story. No, seriously. We've all made mistakes, but we want to help others learn from them. So don't be that person that sets limits on other people's lives. Thank you.